Hello, my name is Andrew Taylor, Wealth Advisor with OJM Group. Thank you for tuning in to today's presentation, Dangers of Following Media Investment Advice. Before we get started, I would like to share our standard disclaimer. Please understand that the content provided today is general in nature and you should speak to a professional prior to acting on any of the matters addressed today. If you're not a client of OJM, you may not be aware we've written numerous books for physicians, business owners, and affluent investors. Anyone listening today can request a free copy of one of the books that you see today. On to our presentation. Should you follow investment advice from the media? To answer this question, you should understand three key points. And I will say if there's one point that you do take away from today, it's that there is a very real conflict of interest between the goal of the media and actually providing sound financial advice. Also, I'll help you understand who is the target audience. It's something that you will need to recognize. And finally, you will want to ask yourself the question, are your financial goals consistent with the target audience? I'd like to begin by explaining how does the media business work. Whether it's a television program, a newspaper, or a website, the task is simply to provide content that will generate ad revenue. The media is no different than any other business. They're interested in making money and maximizing profits. Television programming must get eyeballs and keep viewers tuned in. Print media needs to maximize the number of clicks and create attention-grabbing headlines. The business model of the media is indeed that simple, and it's to maximize eyeballs. Also keep in mind, patience and discipline are not exciting topics. Crashes, controversy, and hot stock tips certainly are much more intriguing than suggesting that you remain patient and stay the course. And also, it's important to remember financial markets are very forward-looking. If you react to breaking news, you're responding to information that's likely already been priced into the markets. The single biggest mistake made by investors are typically mistakes that are driven by emotion. The media often use your emotions to keep you interested in programming or to click on a particular headline. Target audience. So let's ignore the conflict of interest aspect. You may ask yourself, well, successful and intelligent individuals are either on the television speaking or writing articles. Why shouldn't I listen? Well, going back to our primary point, remember the goal of the media is to maximize viewers, and this is a very, very important fact. Also recognize that the median household U.S. income, $53,482 per U.S. Census data from 2014. Also recognize that income slightly over $200,000 in a year represents the top 5% of all filers. So take a step back and ask yourself, should an investor in a 15% tax bracket with $30,000 in a retirement account be following the exact same advice as a physician or a business owner in the top tax bracket with $1 million in a brokerage account? Now, clearly, there are diversification challenges. There are tax considerations that need to be factored in. The individual that may be writing or speaking to you on television certainly is not addressing all of these points or is not going to keep you in mind, with the broad general advice that's being presented. And the final question that you should be asking yourself is, what does the media actually know about you? There have been numerous egregious examples of just broad-based advice that is certainly not appropriate for all, but given that impression in the way that an article or a programming content is being delivered. In the first quarter of 2016, the New York Times printed an article with one-size-fits-all advice, encourage investors to place all their money in stocks. Included in the article were a series of factual data demonstrating that stocks had outperformed other investments over an extended period of time. Now, the author referenced the power of compounding, suggests diversification amongst your stockholders, all points that we're certainly not going to dispute, and points that were very well thought out. However, you have to take a step back and ask yourself, well, what does this author actually know about you and you specifically? Well, number one, there was certainly no consideration of time horizon. There was no knowledge of what your particular goals may be, whether it's to fund, are you funding retirement? Is that time period just simply a couple of years away? Are you funding education? Do you have an upcoming home purchase? What is your income level? Also very, very important, loss threshold. Investing is very, very emotional, as I mentioned a few minutes ago. You simply may not be comfortable realizing a 15 to 20% loss in your portfolio, and it wasn't that long ago from 2007 to 2009 where we saw the S&P 500 drop 55% in a very short period of time. So there are many additional considerations that are beyond the scope of this presentation. What I will say is that you should find a professional you can trust and ask them for financial advice. If they are performing their job properly, an advisor will take the time to understand your needs and create a strategy that's suitable for your specific circumstances. The financial media does not know the first thing about you. Why should you listen to them for financial advice? That concludes our presentation. I would like to take a moment to explain how OJM works with clients. We have a multitude of specialists that work in a variety of disciplines, including asset protection, tax reduction, corporate structure, benefit planning, retirement planning, insurance, and wealth management. OJM Group is a unique wealth management firm with more than 1,000 clients across 48 states. Multidisciplinary, as I had mentioned. We provide planning for business owners, for practice, as well as customized personal individual planning. As I had mentioned earlier in the presentation, there is the opportunity for you to receive a complimentary copy of one of our books for doctors only, Fortune Building for Business Owners and Entrepreneurs, or one of the other books referenced at the beginning of the presentation. Anyone listening today is also entitled to a free consultation. If you're interested, please contact our office. You can certainly ask for me by dialing 877-656-4362 or send an email ataylor@ojmgroup.com. Thank you very much for tuning in.